Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Listen, we have a lot of XRP and Ripple related news. Oh, it's real good news, by the way. Real good news. Hope you're all having a fantastic day out there. We have a lot of gold news, silver news. All right, so let's get right into it here. Let's begin with this article, and it's titled, well, you know the big news. I assume most of you heard the big news today. Ripple to launch US dollar stablecoin, taking on a $150 billion market dominated by Tether. They dropped the ball. And Circle. Oh, Circle dropped the ball big time last year. Remember when all that bank stuff happened last year, or these problems happened, and they froze USDC? Let me tell you something. A lot of people never trust the USDC again. They dropped the ball. So there's room for a new player who has proper liquidity and hopefully can't get depegged, because I can already see the dynamic between the stablecoins and XRP. I can see it coming. Think not. Listen, I used Grok AI to confirm how much a stablecoin would affect a native token. And it brings a lot of good things that also tells me that Ripple's doing this to further comfort the big money. The big money has wanted the stablecoins. Like, you know how I know that? Because number one, I've heard a lot of XRP people calling for stablecoins on the XRPL for a long time, and it never came. But the big money started talking about stablecoins and how they wanted stablecoins involved in the system. All of a sudden, now you have stablecoins. You see, like stuff like that. I mean, listen, I could be wrong, but I'm just saying, I observe things like that, and I consider the possibility that this is what the big money wants. They're doing this to comfort them, bring them in. They know that Tether and Circle drop the ball in certain areas, and so they're taking the opportunity, they're taking the chance, right? But let's read this little tidbit, and then we'll go into a little bit of how stablecoins could positively affect the XRPL. Get ready. Notice the timing. All of these different things they've been doing have been happening right as that case is coming to a close at some point in the next few months. I don't believe that's a coincidence at all. And while the big shakeout is happening before the halving, before the other institutions get in, no, this is all perfect timing. They're timing this very well. Just my humble opinion. You could disagree. I'm not here to convince you otherwise. It says this: blockchain firm Ripple said it's launching a US dollar stablecoin, marking an entry into the $150 billion stablecoin market. You know who else wants stablecoins? The US government loves stablecoins. Oh, wait, no, because I know what you're saying. But what about the CBDC? Do you remember the papers that came out, their papers that came out before all the CBDC craze, before they were testing all the CBDCs? I'm talking about back in its infancy. They came out with papers that said, some people from the Fed said, hey, we might not even need a CBDC because we could use stablecoins. Remember that? I definitely do. You don't think Ripple knows that and wants to position themselves? Someone is going to be the dominant stablecoin in the United States, and that will impact their native protocol heavily, because that capital goes back and forth between the native stablecoin and the native token, the native crypto, and that stablecoin. You know how this goes. It keeps the liquidity on that blockchain. Now you don't have to go elsewhere. You can just keep that on the XRPL or whoever. See how that works? It's the same reason why Stellar was going so hard in the paint with USDC. They just didn't have an offering of their own. But given how intertwined Stellar is with Circle, and Circle is with Coinbase, Coinbase is with Circle, they're all really one entity. People just don't talk about it a lot. You can look that up. They're all intertwined, right? Anyway, it says this: the move will pit Ripple against stablecoin giants Tether, which is behind the largest stablecoin USDT, and Circle, the issuer of USDC. I don't think this is much competition. I really don't. Yeah, sure, they have a head start. But here's the thing. Let's put Tether to the side, because they have a lot of problems, right? They have a lot of problems, and the federal government doesn't seem to like them very much. Let's take Circle as an example. Circle reached out to the Fed. This is about a year and a half ago. And they said, hey, we like to keep, hey, big dog Fed, could we play with you? Could you hold some of our money? The Fed said, no, we're not going to help you out like that. They rejected it. I don't know what's happening today. I just know they rejected some things that Circle had offered. That was well publicized. But wait a minute. Ripple is on the Faster Payments Task Force. Ripple is on the Faster Payments Council for the U.S. They've been working hand in hand with the government. So although you have some opponents, that's just how it is. You have all these factions within these bodies, right? But that doesn't negate that they have great connections with certain sectors, certain factions within the U.S. government. They have way of a better situation with the U.S. government than Circle does. Circle doesn't have that background. Not that I know of. Not that I know of. So if you want to talk about advantages, I would say that Ripple is in a prime position. Now, what they do with it, that's up to them. We have to wait and see. I mean, did I say Circle? I meant Ripple. I'm not Ripple. I don't work for Ripple. I don't know these guys. I just know if it were me and I have that opportunity, I'm going to max it out. I'm going to capitalize on it big time, especially with all the banks and all of the new products that I can offer to these banks that I already have partnerships with. Listen, I don't think people see what's going to come in, but I don't really need them to. It says this Ripple is launched, so I don't see them as competition. It says Ripple is first launching its stablecoin in the U.S. You don't think there's a reason for that? Right. It says, but didn't rule out offering additional regional stablecoins in non-U.S. markets like Europe and Asia. It goes without saying that we will go to Europe. We will dominate Europe. We will go to Asia. We have a great relationship with many Asian powerhouses, and we will dominate in Asia as well. This is pure business. We have a CBDC platform that's ready to run wild. We have all the connections. Come on, stop. So this is a matter of time, in my humble opinion. You could disagree, my humble opinion. Just a matter of time. Timing is everything. It says crypto startup Ripple is the latest major player to jump into the $150 billion stablecoin market. All right, listen, it says the stablecoin will also be backed one-to-one by an equivalent sum of assets, U.S. dollar deposits, U.S. government bonds, cash equivalents that the company holds in reserve, according to Ripple. Then they have to find somebody, obviously, to audit all of this. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. The crypto firm said its reserves would be accounted for in publicly available monthly attestation reports. It did not say which firm will audit. Like I said, they'll find one. That's not going to be a problem. So now let's move on here, because there's more. Yes, there is indeed. This was a good day. Good day of news. By the way, that was a good event last night I went to. I did get to reply to like 1 or 2 comments from the event. There was no signal in that place at all. None. Zero. Anyway, but it was a good time. So now, this article is titled XRP News Ripple Legal Officer Fires Back at the SEC. What's going on now? Let's find out. It says there were no. Okay, so why are they saying he fired back when they lead off with there were no SEC Ripple case related activities? Then why are they saying he fired back? It says on Wednesday. That's definitely activity if he said something, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. It says on Wednesday, Ripple Chief Legal Officer Stuart Alderati reacted to comments from SEC Director Gurbir Grewal saying, quote, Director Grewal says the crypto enforcement unit acts with integrity, but ignores the debt box sanctions for, quote, gross abuse of power, unquote, which a lot of judges said that as well, right? That's easily looked up on Google or whatever search engine you use. It says the Ripple's judges' admonishment for lack of, quote, faithful allegiance to the law. Wow, look at that, unquote. A lack of faithful allegiance to the law. That's how they describe the SEC. And you know what's scarier? That no one is doing anything about this. None of these so-called people that are supposed to reel them in, smack them on the head with a newspaper, and say, hey, don't do that. No one's doing that. It says, and the, quote, arbitrary and capricious, unquote, finding in the Grayscale case. Yeah, so he's just going off. I see why you labeled it this. Yeah, he's firing off. It says, quote, another quote from Alderati. On the substance, he cites one portion of the Ripple ruling, but ignores that the SEC lost. They lost. You hear all this verbiage these days. They're trying to spin it into something else. No, 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 no. We're not going to let your lies live. No, we're going to smack them down where they belong, in the dirt. It says, or gave up. That's right. That's another. I forgot about that. But yeah, they did that. They gave up on, it says, most of his claims in that case. Yeah, so don't try to spin it like they had any victory. They did not. This is including the court's rejection of the SEC's assertion that XRP was in and of itself a security, unquote. So you're hearing this from a lawyer. So all those article writers who don't have a legal degree and are trying to spin it some other way to create some kind of FUD or something like that, this is a lawyer, a prominent one, an esteemed one telling you directly. There you go, folks. There you go. You get it straight from the horse's mouth. Who else you gonna get it from? You gotta get it from, you don't go to the other guys. You go to this guy. You don't go to the rest, you go to the best. You know what I mean? All right there. Man, let me tell you, one of my old bosses, he was the president of the company. We were real close like that. He used to talk like that, you know. It was so interesting and cool, you know, because before him, I just heard people talk like that in like movies. But no, he talks like that. His family talks like that. And it was like so interesting and cool because I just don't hear that way of speech, that accent too much anymore. I don't know. I love to hear it more because I like that, you know. But anyway, whatever. This is Alderati targeted the SEC approach to crypto regulatory guidance and creation of confusion before concluding, quote, if the agency wants to honestly repair the institutional damage inflicted to both itself and the industry over the last many years in this misguided war on crypto, it needs to get off its soapbox and own up to these truths, unquote. Yeah, I said this the other day. They're very, very confused, very much so. How do you hold back Ethereum and then you investigate Ethereum trying to say ETH is a security, but then you say, hey, we're going to take comments on Ethereum ETFs and, ETP products or whatever, ETH. There was some other verbiage they used. Like, it's one or the other. Like, why take the comments if you're going to go after them? Like, are you deliberately trying to set people up? Because if you say anything negative about it at some point in the future and say, oh, it's a security, you know that price is going to plummet. People are going to be injured. So like, are you deliberately trying to injure people? It's one or the other. They're so confused. You've even seen bickering back and forth between people inside the SEC. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's unbelievable what's going on here right before everyone's eyes. So now let's go here. We got another article. Let's find out what this one is about. Okay, so this article here, this is a heavy XRP day, very heavy XRP day. This article is titled, New Tokens on the XRP Ledger Could Benefit XRP. Big time, sure. It says Artur Kurjakalov, the CEO of xpmarket.com, has argued that new tokens and the expansion of the XRP Ledger effectively benefit XRP value. I agree with that. Like I said, I got something sitting over here. We'll see if we get to it, where even AI explains that how beneficial this stuff would be to XRP. It says here, recently, the XP Market CEO observed misconceptions circulating in the XRP community regarding the potential impact of new tokens and the expansion of the XRPL's ecosystem on XRP's value. Kurjakalov firmly disagreed with the view that a larger XRPL ecosystem would negatively impact XRP. Why? But I don't understand the thinking behind that. I just don't understand that. Okay, if you want to compare, look at Solana. Look at Solana. Look at how all that activity on Solana has been affecting Solana. Man, I mean, that's the comparison I think about. Maybe somebody may argue that's not an equivalent. I think it's pretty close. And look how it has impacted Solana's price. Has been really good. No, even when it's come down, doesn't matter. It still look great. It's not $15 anymore. It's not $16, is it? No, it's not. It's looking great. So I just don't understand where that thinking comes from. Just my humble opinion. Says, according to him, the development of the XRPL's ecosystem will have a direct positive impact on XRP. He further presented numerical data to counter the misconception. It says Kurjakalov pointed out that over 5 million wallets are on the XRPL, each requiring 10 XRP to initiate. Accordingly, 50 million XRP are inactive. He underscored that an increase in wallets An increase in wallets, you have to have that 10 XRP, signifies an increasing demand for XRP. We don't even have to go to the AI information. This man right here is dropping some very, very good information. Drawing an analogy, Kurjakalov likened XRPL ecosystem to an expanding and enriching party. He explained that the growing number of participants necessitates more XRP for admission, akin to a mandatory fee, which inherently reflects a natural demand for the digital asset. There you go, folks. All right. So now let's move on here. Should we skip this article? I have this article here, but this article is titled, it's about Circle, praising Ripple. I don't think they have a choice, but also they're not on separate teams. If you notice, Ripple has supported Coinbase. Coinbase is in deep with Circle, and Coinbase has supported Ripple because they both had that battle with the SEC and such like that. Isn't Stuart Alderati to some degree assisting Coinbase, right? So then you have that connection. They're all connected, folks. One system, one new financial system. If you look close enough, you'll see it, but it's there, right? So they're going to support each other. This is not a competition. They understand. See, at the top, they understand there's enough money to go around when the time is right. It says here, we'll read it. Why not? It says Jeremy Allaire, the CEO of stablecoin issuer Circle, has welcomed Ripple's entrance into the market. Earlier today, crypto firm Ripple revealed plans to launch a stablecoin that will be 100% backed by US dollar. We read that already. It says in response, Allaire said that it was, quote, encouraging to see more companies taking a compliance first approach on building on-chain dollars, unquote. Now that I don't like. What do you mean compliance? They've been coming into compliance since the beginning. Just the SEC is corrupt. And if you don't think so, then you need to talk to your friends at Coinbase, right? You need to talk to them. All right. So I don't know what you mean by that, but sure, you should praise Ripple. Like I said, Coinbase benefited greatly from what Ripple has done. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Stuart Alderati provided them a lot of services and information that could be helpful to them. And the biggest user or pusher of USDC is Coinbase. Coinbase has a vested interest in Circle, and Circle has a vested interest in Coinbase, like Stellar does. Stellar with Circle, not Coinbase. So now it's a very complicated web that they're weaving here. So I'm just going to leave that one off there. Let's move on here. So we have a little bit of Coinbase news. So this article is titled Coinbase celebrates Canadian registration 8 months after launch. Why 8 months later? Coinbase said it has secured a restricted dealer license in Canada, making it the first and largest international cryptocurrency exchange to be registered in the country. The US-based exchange officially launched in Canada nearly 8 months ago. So why are they celebrating now? It says after announcing it had launched in Canada nearly 8 months ago, Coinbase announced on Thursday it has now also secured registration as a restricted dealer. Okay, so there you go. Why are they always so tricky with these titles? Let's keep it going. Coinbase said this makes it the first international cryptocurrency exchange to be registered in the country and the largest one to operate there. Expanding into Canada fits into Coinbase's broader plan to grow a footprint in markets outside the U.S., where it has at times faced difficulties amid scrutiny from the Securities and Exchange Commission. In its statement, Coinbase appeared upbeat about securing the restricted dealer license. Quote, "We've collaborated with Canadian banks, investment advisors, and pension funds to demonstrate our dedication to facilitating their successful navigation of the evolving digital asset realm," unquote, the company said in a blog post. All right, Coinbase, look, Coinbase, keep doing good. I really don't have a huge problem with you. And I think that you serve a very good purpose for crypto. So I'm glad to see this. Also, down with the SEC. All right. That's how I feel. So keep going there. Keep going at them. Bring home the victories and keep doing well for crypto. And I hope that crypto continues to do well long into the future. All right. So now let's get on to some commodities news, because if you think crypto's the only one doing well, I got more news for you. So gold has been looking great recently. Silver's been looking good as well. Yeah. Things been going well for the people that are into commodities. Let's read this a little bit here. This article is titled Opportunity Could gold reach $3,000 per ounce? This is a spooky article, in my opinion. I was just recently talking about how there's an energy amongst the gold community, at least for the last like 7 to 8 months, because we saw some things that made us say, wait a minute, if conditions are right, gold could, it's not a guarantee, could possibly reach $3,000 if the conditions are right, and we have catalysts that are coming up. Gold could reach $3,000, right? It's not, once again, I want to say it firmly, it's not financial advice. But let's read this little tidbit here. It says gold has melted faces in 2024. You know, it's been a great year for gold when the commodities community uses the phrase melted faces, right? That's something I typically only hear in the crypto community. Anyway, it says with remarkable performance, you see the smile? You know I'm happy about this, right? Anyway, remarkable performance and consecutive all-time highs throughout the year. Now, Mike McGlone suggests a potential rally towards $3,000 per ounce, testing this psychological resistance. The senior commodity strategist from Bloomberg Intelligence shared this analysis on X on April the 2nd. Essentially, the combination of two financial indicators backs Mike McGlone's forecast of a gold rally to $3,000. Okay. Quote, the lowest CBOE S&P 500 volatility index and the highest US T-bill rates since about 2007 may be a foundation for gold to head toward round number resistance of around $3,000 an ounce. Now, Mike McGlone is raising a very, very good point, but I got to put this in there. Listen, I'm waiting for banks to fall. I can't. For $3,000, I'm waiting for banks to fall. If banks fall, like all of these so-called pros are saying, and I believe that is definitely possible given the information I've seen, yes, sure, we could definitely skyrocket to 3,000. You know, I mean, I can see where Mr. McGlone is coming from, because given situation right now, you see what gold has been doing. Things are so dire in the world. Everyone's running to somewhere else besides the banks to protect their capital. So I kind of see where he's coming from. And so these could definitely come into play heavily, but we will see. We shall see. And we're going to close out with this article here. This article is titled Gold Becoming a Battlefield. BRICS looks to bullion to challenge the dollar. Remember I said this a year ago? I said that they were going to, because they were buying record amounts of gold and we were just connecting dots. And I said the only reason all of these countries would be stacking record amounts of gold would be to get themselves away from the dollar. And it doesn't make a difference how they do it, whether they use the gold value outright. Because you can, like I said, you can use gold cards and gold accounts the same way that you use a regular bank account. They can do it that way. They can do it where value is exchanged just account to account. They can also do it where they have a digital currency that they can back with gold. We heard a lot of talks about that. A lot of it came from the BRICS nations, right? They started that verbiage. So there's a lot of different ways they can do this, but that is the reason why they've been stacking gold, in my humble opinion. And now we have this article. It says here, throughout the early months of 2024, the BRICS has been gaining a great deal of attention, first and foremost by doubling in size. The intergovernmental organization uniting Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa welcomed Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates into the fold on January the 1st, with the confirmation of Saudi Arabia's formal ascension on January 31st, bringing the total number of member states from 5 to 10. Recent reports have 34 more countries expressing interest in joining this year. Now, wait a minute, Kitco. Was it ever? I saw so much conflicting information about Saudi Arabia being a part of BRICS, so I don't know what is real anymore when it comes to Saudi Arabia, but we shall see. I'll wait for something official to come from them. I don't remember seeing that. I haven't seen it. I'm going to have to look into that, but I'm just putting that out there. If I see something I think is iffy, I have to say something about it. That's just how I feel. It says Russia has assumed the chairmanship of the bloc, with the next BRICS summit taking place in the southwestern city of Kazan. All right, hold on. Now, to talk about the gold now. I want to hear about gold. I know about BRICS. It says Russia's role matters for gold. Everett Millman, chief market analyst at Gainesville Coins, believes that precious metals market participants need to take Russia's chairmanship of BRICS seriously because it is likely to impact the gold market if it hasn't already. I think it's significant, quote, is a quote, I think it's significant that Russia is chairing the bloc right now, unquote, Millman said. Quote, it's a constant headline risk, unquote. Millman said the primary target audience for stories pushing the BRICS narratives of de-dollarization, SWIFT alternatives, keep that in mind, SWIFT alternatives. Most of the world does not want to use SWIFT. That defangs them greatly, which means that the new financial system is in the driver's seat. It says, growth rates, investment capital gains, and proliferating millionaires is neither current BRICS members nor the West. But the unaligned, I was just talking about this, I think yesterday, how many countries are just for the taking. They're not a part of either one. They're just in the middle right now trying to decide. But this is what he says. But the unaligned countries who belong to neither camp. Let's scroll down a little bit. It says future gold supply is at stake. Millman highlighted that mining investment community should be paying particular attention to this part of the world as the future of the industry will be written there. I think he's talking about Africa. Quote, the existing mines have a terminal lifespan. Yes, but here's the thing he's not saying. Remember, in certain regions, which is very interesting, that Stellar is heavy. Stellar is heavy in those regions with tokenization just on deck. But whatever. OK, but there are certain countries in Africa that have uncovered, according to when they scan, what is that called? LiDAR, when they scan the ground and they can look through it. I don't remember what it's called, but they found record amounts of gold. It hasn't been mined yet. So I keep that at the forefront of my thoughts. It says, and there's going to have to be new gold exploration in order for output to maintain the very consistent level it's been at for the past several decades, unquote. Yeah, but there's something I want to say, but it'll make the video too long. All right, so we're going to stop right there. Now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.